everyone, and welcome back to another Sims VOLPE build. So, as you saw by the title and the little intro and the thumbnail, today I decided to create a castle. Now, let me say, when I say today, I mean Friday. So, during this past week that I've been off, it's been the same thing that I always do when I disappear for a week. I created videos, but for whatever reason, I just decided not to put them out. And this time it was even worse because it was actually like already edited and everything like that. It's just, I felt like something was missing. So then when I finally realized that, well, a lot of events occurred whilst I was gone for a second, there was a poll on which kits we should get. And I didn't realize that I knew that was a thing that the Sims 4 community does, but I was never too aware that like where you go to do stuff like that. So when I found out the castle kit came out and it was through polls, I was just like, okay, well, this is interesting. So what I know of it is that there was the castle kit versus this futuristic set, which I'm happy that everyone voted for the castle kit because I think that was the most immediate thing that we needed. But I do hope that futuristic set does come out. And what I also wish is that I hope that a whole futuristic pack comes out, because when I was creating this, I'll delve into it a little bit more, but I've always wanted to do, I think you saw before, I talked about the best packs to buy if you want to build a modern slash contemporary house. If I can think to remember to put it in the tag thingies at the top, it'll be there. But yeah, I've already done a list of 5 must-haves if you're trying to do modern and contemporary, and I think it was like tiny living, eco lifestyle. It was island living, surprisingly. It was like, and generations, it was like stuff like that. And I've always wanted to do one when you want to do more like traditional buildings or older architecture. So the fact that we have this, I think this will be a great addition when I one day do come around to making that type of video to showcase it. But to just talk about it briefly before I go straight into like all the nooks and crannies of creating this, I did use majority of the castle kit, as you can see, but I did use elements of the vampires pack. I used elements of the for rent pack. I used elements of the, what other pack did I use? I think I used a little bit of cottage living in here and there, and mostly base game as well. Yeah, it was mainly like, I think vampires was the biggest addition I did towards that. But if you wanted to, there's like another pack I could think of that could potentially add on to this, or you could utilize instead of this, because as much as I enjoy that we have this kit out, I do also think that you could potentially go without it. I think the cool thing about this kit is that it does utilize a lot of things that we didn't have within The Sims in terms of texture-wise, and I'll go into a little bit of that in a second. But yeah, I think you could potentially just, if you want, instead of paying for 99 for, that's what it is in Great British pounds, instead of using 4.99 to pay for essentially just a few objects, if you've got mods, Felix Andre will be your best friend because they have a bunch of crazy good stuff when it comes to building castles and stuff like that. And if not, you don't want a mod, to get this kind of stuff as well as the gameplay that could go around it, I would suggest Vampires, the cheaper option, or you have the exterior extra money. I would suggest using University Life as well, because University Life also has very similar stuff to this that you could potentially use in order to make this kind of building. But yeah, in terms of mods, when I was using this, I kept thinking to myself that as much as I love it, to be fair, I don't know. I know The Sims sometimes does work along with mod creators and CC creators, so that's what could have potentially happened, and also completely obtuse about it. So ignore me if I'm completely wrong about this. But I think it would have been great if they worked alongside Felix Andre, because I do feel like Felix Andre's stuff is very similar to what we got within this kit. And their stuff is just so amazing, and it is so just excessive within itself. For example, with the Felix Andre set, we are able, for example, with the Felix Andre set, we are able to have the things that we have in terms of columns and archways, which are so beautiful. And windows, they've got these amazing windows that are perfect for making churches. If you've seen my British tour, my British builds video, I showcase one of the buildings I made specifically using a lot of that stuff that came with that pack, which also I'm going to discuss later what else I could do in terms of possibilities with this pack. But yeah, I think Felix Andre has a lot of great stuff. Like they've got multiple different CC packs. So they've got not only that, but they've got another one for a chateau, which I used in my chateau video for the wedding venue. And they've just got sculptures and just so many other crazy amazing stuff. And I also know Pearson's has a lot of great stuff for this kind of thing as well. And yeah, so I think if you've got that mod, it would be so great to just combine them to make like the ultimate castle. But right now I used it non-CC version because I know a lot of people would have wanted to have a non-CC version. And yeah, so I think that's like one of the great things that we have going on in terms of mod creators. So if you don't want to spend that $4.99, you just go up to Felix Andre and get some of their stuff. Also, in terms of packs that you may already have, I already suggested vampire. I was gonna say vampire. I already suggested the vampire stuff pack that we have, but within that stuff pack, there is a lot of things that could be used to make very old styled architecture, as you guys know. And I used it within the doors here. I used it within some of the curtains, I believe, and I used it within some of the lighting because we didn't get a lot of like candle stuff, which I would assume with castles, because with castles that I normally create an architecture like this, I make them very traditional on the outside, but I make them somewhat traditional slash modern on the inside. Like instead, the outside could look like 15th century, like Tudor times, or even Renaissance period. So like the 1600s to the 1700s. Imagine if that's not the Renaissance period and I'm just completely talking nonsense. I imagine that for the exterior of buildings, but then for the interior buildings, I imagine them to be very Victorian, very Georgian-esque. Very, yeah, like leaning like later Georgian, Victorian period-esque for the interiors with somewhat modern-esque stuff within it. Like I would imagine the inside to be wallpapered, plastered, and I would imagine there to be clear-cut marble flooring and maybe electric systems or gas lamps. And there are a few gas lamps here and there to add to that theme, but it's mainly candlelit for most of it. And yeah, you can get a lot of stuff with that in the vampire pack to really bolster this kit as well. But another one, like I said, university stuff you can use now. They've got very great windows, very great columns, and they've got a really great wallpapers as well to create a similar effect. But the one thing that this kit has, which I'm doing now, that a lot of these other picks that I've talked about do not have, is that it has a matching foundation color to the matching wallpapers, which is such a needed thing amongst all the things we have within The Sims. I cannot tell you how it is horrible creating a building on this game and then realizing that you have to have a foundation, especially if you want to make it look very grandiose. Because since we're limited again to the maximum 4 floors thing, and I felt that it's weird because I have created so many apartments, but I've never felt that annoyance with the maximum 4 floors than when creating this castle, just because it did not feel as grand as it could have been. But now in retrospect, I think about it, I think if I added an extra floor, it would have just ended up being a little bit too grand and I would have just got annoyed with it because it would have just been a little bit too much. And yeah, my sim from point A to point B would have been really annoying because that's one of the things I hate about really big buildings. I don't want to waste 2 hours of my Sims day of them trying to go through buildings, especially when buildings have multiple doors and multiple suitcases, stairs. Don't know why suitcases and stairs became like a singular word in my head, but yeah, I do not like it when Sims go from point A to point B and it takes such a long time to do that. And I think multiple floors, which is getting really annoying, which is why we should have elevators that are functional in this game. But um, we stay waiting for that. You would think that is a thing that would have been added when we got the patch for the for-rent pack and the apartment stuff. But no, that was not a thing. I still yet use mods to create that, which is I was not annoying because there are worse things in the world, but it's like I feel like it's virtually something simple that the franchise could do in order to aid in that area. But again, what castles have elevators, so it remains a bit non unimportant when it comes to this discussion. But speaking of apartments, I have built a lot. Not well, I have built a lot of apartments, but I have built a lot of other things lately, and I miss it. I have finally built my sub-Saharan African house, which is so pretty. When I say sub-Saharan African as well, because it's quite vague, it's basically sub-Saharan Southern Africa. So it's like South Africa, Mozambique, Botswana, Zimbabwe. Some people debate Angola, Zambia, that area, like that area. That's the area I utilized as inspiration. And I know there's probably houses like this. Like I was looking at them, I was doing it mostly from memory, but from what I did for a little bit of research, I know there's a lot of houses that look like this in Australia and sometimes even America, but I was specifically thinking those countries because that's where I'm from, specifically Zimbabwe, but it's very generalistic. And yeah, and I just wanted to do a house that reminded me of where I was born and stuff like that. And so I did that and I recorded it and it's done. I just have to do the voiceover. So that's probably going to be the next thing that comes out because it's taken up space on my computer. And I'm really surprised this loaded because this is one of my bigger builds for a long time. For a long time, I haven't done, actually, for a long time, I have been doing big builds, but I haven't been recording the entirety of them. I think, what build did I do? I don't know. I did another build, but I didn't record a good chunk of it because my computer just cannot take that much stuff. And I am still yet to get a job to go and do that. But I will get a job. Don't worry about it. I will get one. And yeah, when I do get one, I'm gonna get a better computer, more power, because it's gonna help me on my everyday jobs as well. Because it'll be great to have one specific laptop for gaming and another laptop for editing. Because my laptop has 250 gigabytes, so it's not that much. But I do use an SSD, so my SSD has 500 gigabytes, and that's where all my drafts are directly saved to, as well as where my game is. So it's very efficient in that front. But there are certain times where it just automatically goes onto the C drive, and it's really annoying to try and reprogram it and tell it to go send it to the D drive or the E drive. And it's just, no, I don't want to. I'm going to send it to the C drive because that's where you've installed me. So then you uninstall it and reinstall it. And it's like, no, 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 no. I want the C drive. I'm going to send it. I'm going to try and shove it in the C drive. So yeah, I do want to get another a laptop specifically for the editing front. And hopefully with that, I can start using Premiere Pro again because I'm more efficient in Premiere Pro. That is what I have learned. That's what I've been trained in. And then secondary to that, I is DaVinci Resolve. And then thirdly to that is CapCut. So I use the desktop version CapCut to edit my videos because that's the only thing that loads on my laptop. I've tried Premiere Pro, and Premiere Pro, I remember the one reason I didn't upload my first video on this account, on this channel, was because it just wouldn't allow me to edit it because it just couldn't function. It couldn't fathom the thought of trying to load up the video and make it faster and speed it up. Why did I say it like that? To try and speed it up because I obviously these are speed build videos, so you have to speed everything up, and it just didn't want to. So I decided at that point to use CapCut because I normally had used it on my iPad. So I was like, okay, let me get the desktop version, and it runs so smoothly compared to Premiere Pro. So and it sucks because I continuously pay my subscriptions to Premiere Pro because that is just, I never want to let go of that scope because that will help me in my real life job. So yeah, I don't know how I got up to that. Oh yeah, because this video was it was one of the larger videos I've done lately. It was 10 gigabytes, which is not a lot because I recorded a way lower resolution because I've tried OBS. I refuse to touch OBS until I have an expert come and show me how to use it. Well, maybe even just get a better computer to try and use it. But yeah, I refuse OBS and I continue to use the Xbox. The Xbox, what's it called? The internal screen recorder that comes with Windows laptops at the moment. I use that to record my videos as that is what works the best for me. as well as it's just been really simpler and easy to understand. You just Windows button, is it Alt and then R and then it's recording and that's what you want? And I can time code it. I can see everything that's going on with it. And it's just really efficient and I love it. Sorry, I'm just taking a sip of water. But anyways, so yeah, so it was one of my bigger videos that I've had where I've recorded quite a large chunk about it because as you saw, like, because when I started building it on Friday afternoon, because as I said before, I was slightly like ambiently aware that there were polls going on at the moment about which kit was getting voted in, and like I said, I would have voted in the castle kit as well, but I do want a futuristic kit. I liked Into the Future. I would like a version of Into the Future. No, I do not want to download Star Wars because again, my game won't run if I download every single pack, so I have to pick and choose which packs I want. Expansion packs are non-questionable. I'll always download those. But when it comes to stuff packs, those are very if I want them. And game packs, I'm working my way through. All I need now is what do I need? What do I need? I need the ones that are very woodsy. So I think there's a camping one and there's an adventure one. So I think it's Jungle Adventures and this other one and Star Wars. Those are the ones that I believe I'm missing in terms of game packs. But everything else, I just pick and choose what I think is best suited for my game. So yeah. So I again, why am I talking about my storage lately? Wow. Yeah, so yeah, this is one of the bigger videos that I've had to record in such a long time. So it was when it came to editing it, it was quite simplistic, but when I was building it, as I said, I started on Friday. I built a little bit of it, and then I did that in a chunk, and then first I built something and then it was ugly and I didn't like it. I didn't finish it. I like built 10 minutes of it and I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work out from where I chose it. As you can see in the top corner of the screen, it says what I'm building on. I'm building in the park of the place at Hempbridge Place, the place that goes with cottage living. Just because there's like a lot of like residue stuff from like castles and stuff around it, and I just didn't like it. And yes, I built the first chunk and then I didn't like that, so I started again, and then I built quite a good amount of the foundation. Wait, actually, I showed you guys I've already done the foundation. Yeah, I started the video with the foundation already done. Not the foundation, the terrain already done, and then I started doing like what's it called? What's it called? Shell. Then I started with the shell. I did a little bit of the shell, but then the little adjustments of the shell, I did that completed off because what I was doing is that I was doing it, getting confused, didn't want to record my confusion, or there would have just been so many pauses, and I worry every single time that I'm gonna forget that was a pause because I did that. Not, I think it was in the last video or the video before where I left a glitch in the video where I was doing the house tour and I think it glitched back and I left it in when it came to the seaside one. I left in a glitch there at the house tour part. So like I try and look through my videos as much as possible, but sometimes if you don't have a second eye, you just don't see it. And I don't have a second eye to see it, so I just don't half the time. So to just counter that, I just record when I think I'm about to do a lot of changes. But if I'm going to do minimal changes, I'm not going to record. For example, I did record when I believed I was going to do a lot of changes, only for it to end up being 30 seconds. Because I either listen to music, listen to video essays, or just listen to commentary channels as I am building 9 times at a time. I will not watch a film because a film, it has to have my full attention. I can't even go on my phone whilst watching a film. I have to be again, film student, have to be 100% on it whilst watching a film or a TV show. But if it's a commentary channel, like it's commentary, it's like a commentary on society, or if it's just plain nonsense gossip, I love that. Or if there's a video essay that is some actual serious commentary on our society and things like that, I also watch those on the side, and then I listen to music. A lot of the music I listen to, sometimes it can be very peaceful music, like very ambient. I love electronic ambient music. It's one of my favorite music types. So think of your One Heart, think of your Fox Wedding, think of all of those people. Again, I've not researched a lot about the artist, so I don't know what the artists are like, but I do know what the music is, and I listen to a lot of the music on this YouTube channel called Dreamscape, and I just love a lot of their music, so I listen to a lot of that. So sometimes, and I also listen to like a lot of playlist compilations or stuff that says like music you listen to whilst you're in an alternate reality, music you listen to in liminal space, and all of that just kind of slightly disorientating but comforting, nostalgic, and futuristic music. I love that, and it's got no words, and it's really great for me to listen to whilst I'm reading, whilst I'm working, whilst I'm doing a lot of stuff. But sometimes they're just a little bit too good, and then I get lost in it. I can't think of the names, but if you showed me, they're normally colored in blue. Like there's normally just like a blue filter on it. But if you show me the blue filter, I can probably tell you what I like. But there's a specific one I can think of. I think it's called Haramai. I think that's what it's called, and I can listen to, because I don't, there's a lot of names. There's a lot of artists and a lot of names. I listen to this song quite constantly. I really love that song. Um, yeah, I listen to that, but then there's the other hand where I listen to cinematic music or orchestral music, or cinematic orchestral music, and that's when I will completely and utterly lose focus. And I was doing that a lot when building this. At first, I was listening to music very castle-y styled music, and then I was just getting so distracted with it. So I ended up switching and listening to orchestral cinematic music though, because that was a bit more of a pick-me-up for me. And as I was listening to it, I was getting so into the vibe, and then it was building up, and then it was just going straight to the beat drop area part of it, and then I was just lost in my imagination for a good hour. And then I came back and I was like, oh, I was supposed to be dealt. And so that's why sometimes now you just see this just moments taken off, because I can no longer just build straight up. I think it's because as time has gone on, I've made each and every single one of my builds a little bit more complicated. So it takes a lot more mental effort now to build than it used to. I just used to shove a lot of things and hope for the best. But now I really try and make sure everything is like, okay, when it comes to my builds. So I think it's because since now I take it a lot more seriously, I need to be like fully concentrating when doing it. So yeah, I had to take a lot of breaks because of that. But then after that, I did a lot of stuff the following day regarding it. So I think doing the master bedroom, which I'm doing right now, it was the last day. So this was the last portion of the day that I was doing. I did the two airs, the air and the spares room. And then I think there was like one day I did the exterior. Then the next day I did the air and the spare room and the lighting. And then the next day I did the master and the living room. Wait, and then the kitchen. No, the kitchen I did and the air and spares room and the dining room the same day. Yeah. I think it's just such a pretty build. I haven't really said it, but I think it's so pretty because I was looking at a lot of people's castles and I was like, I love these castles where these are architecturally correct. I want to make an architecturally incorrect castle. I do believe there's private castles like this, but this is more like fairy tale, hence why it's in my supernatural save file. Which I've had questions before if I'm ever going to release the save files. I want to make an entirely new save file for you guys, but I don't know what theme I should do. Actually, that'll be the question of the day. Just before I finish the video, I'm going to ask you guys what theme. I'll make a save file just for you all, and if you tell me which world and what theme, we can make that 2024 thing. So like every single month, I release a video regarding that save file, and as a Christmas gift for having all of you guys for the year, I will release it in December completely free of charge, of course, because it's a build and a save file, and you guys can all enjoy that. So I'll ask you guys again at the end of the video. But yeah, it's a really pretty build. I did go on Pinterest to see how to make it because I've made a castle before, and I don't know if I'll ever release it now. I did show it before in previous videos, but again, like I said, there's some CC in it to tag all of it. It's just, I know I could, because I saw on my Patreon, which you guys can go on to, and that's where you can see all my tray files or CC lists for all my videos. I saw someone question on my Patreon that if they are able to download the tray files and the CCs included. I've never downloaded a Simmers build really. And I've never downloaded a Sims build from YouTube. I normally download them straight from the gallery if I need to, but I normally download Sims, not Simmons builds. And I did look through some of them. So I looked at some of the bigger Sim creators like Sims Lacey and some of the other ones, and I looked at what they normally do when they have CC, and I found out they use Sims file share, but it was a longer process, and I was like, I'll just do it on Patreon. And I've seen in some of them do put this CC included within the tray files, but some of them don't. And I have come to the understanding that sometimes it's not occasionally good to put CC included with tray files, just because it draws people away from the creator. So for example, PSNs is someone that I utilize a lot of their work a lot of the time, and if I put them within the tray files, people won't go onto the Patreon and see more of the work, and then they will get like less visitors and less chance to really show off the stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, I have a lot to say, and the video's ended. But yeah, to just touch on that point, I don't put CC included in the tray files, but please tell me down below if that's a thing that is accepted with the community, and if it is, that is something I will start doing from now on. Also, again, just to bring up that question before I finish off the video, would you guys like a save file? Would you like me and you guys to build a save file together? If so, which world? And if which world, which kind of theme? Do you want it to be a British style? Do you want it to be supernatural style? Do you want it to be New England style? What kind of style would you like? And just some final notes about this. Again, all the details will be down below. This is Mount CC, so it will be on my gallery. There will be the tray files linked down below. They'll go onto my Patreon. Please be a member on my Patreon. There's a free option of it, so you don't need to pay, but just so you can keep updated in case you just don't want to watch the YouTube video and just want to get the build straight away. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say. And quickly, what inspired this building? Merlin, the BBC version of Merlin, grew up watching it. That inspired it a little bit. The Twitch's castle from Twitch's inspired it as well, as well as a Patreon video. And the just overall vibe gave me Barbie as well. But specifically, it was Merlin and the Twitch's castle, just because that is my most first version of real life castles. But yeah, anyways. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you for staying this long and listening to all of my ramblings. And also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments, so please leave one down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.